Hi, Josh Rappaport here with another micro math lesson. The focus of this lesson, what is the GCF, also known as the GCD? Okay, well, in a nutshell, the GCF stands for the greatest common factor. And sometimes we call it the GCD, with the D standing for divisor. It means the same basic thing as factor. Okay, but that's just a lot of math jargon. Let's boil that down into plain talk. So in plain talk, the GCF is the largest whole number that divides evenly into two or more numbers. Basically, that means it's the biggest number that goes into two or more numbers that are under consideration. Okay, now, as you know, I like to use a lot of symbols in my presentation, so let me go over a few symbols I'm going to use here so that no one gets confused. First of all, I use the pound sign to mean number, so the pound sign with an S after it would be numbers. 2 plus in my symbols means two or more. We often use the phrase two or more when we're doing some number theory situations. And here's a fun little symbol. The division symbol with an arrow on the right side means divides into evenly. So for example, 3 with that symbol and a 12 on the right means that 3 does divide evenly into 12. 3 goes into 12 evenly. And similarly, that same symbol with a line through it, slash through it, means that it does not divide into a number evenly. So 3 slash division 14 means that 3 does not divide evenly into 14. I find that a useful symbol to use when you're doing problems dealing with number theory and divisibility, GCF, LCM, that sort of thing. Okay, now what I'd like to do is just demonstrate the concept of the GCF with a little example. So here's the example. This is asking, right here, what is the GCF, what's the greatest common factor for 12 and 18? Okay, the GCF for 12 and 18 is what? What we're going to do is look at some numbers to consider whether or not they might be the GCF. First, let's think about 2. 2 is always a good number to start with because it goes into half of all of the integers. So, first of all, 2. Does 2 go into 12? Yes. Does 2 go into 18? Yes. Therefore, 2 goes into both of these numbers, and we can draw our little symbol showing it goes into both. How about 3? Does 3 go into 12? And does 3 go into 18? Yes. It goes into both numbers. Goes into 12 4 times. Goes into 18 6 times. Does 6 go into both 12 and 18? Yes, it goes into 12 twice. It goes into 18 3 times. Let's make sure I get those right. It would be kind of embarrassing to get those wrong, wouldn't it? How about a couple other numbers that are kind of interesting with respect to 12 and 18? Here's the number 4. Okay, 4. Does 4 go into 12? Yes, it does go into 4 evenly. It goes in 3 times. And how about 4? Does 4 go into 18? Well, no, it doesn't. So now we get to do our other symbol. 4 does not go into 18 evenly. Let's look at the number 9. Does 9 go into 12 evenly? It sure doesn't. So again, we get to say it does not go in evenly. But 9 does go into 18 evenly, of course. Goes in twice. That's a yes. Now, of course, I put up 4 and 9 to demonstrate the idea that if a number goes into one of the two numbers under consideration, it is not the GCF. To be or it's not even a common factor. To be a common factor, and of course to be the GCF, it must go into both numbers under consideration, if there are two numbers, or all numbers under consideration, if there are more than two numbers that you're looking at. So 4 and 9 are not common factors of both 12 and 18, so we can not even worry about 4 and 9. That means there are 3 numbers that are common factors of 12 and 18, which are 2, 3, and 6. But when what we are looking for is not just a common factor, a CF, but what we want is the GCF, the greatest common factor, we look at our 3 common factors, 2, 3, and 6, and we ask, what's the biggest? Obviously, that would be 6. So 6 is the greatest common factor for 12 and 18. That allows us to answer our question. So the GCF for 12 and 18 is in fact 6. And we've answered our question. We figured out what the GCF means, the same as the GCD. And there are some problems down below to help you understand this concept of the GCF just a little bit more clearly through practice. So feel free to go ahead and do those practice problems. The answers are a little bit below that, and I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. There will be more videos on the same topic, and feel free to check those out as well. Thank you for watching.